your hero feels weak. Not because he is bad, but because you level up the wrong skills first. Welcome back, friends. Today I want you to help you to save resources and avoid painful star up or skill up upgrade mistakes. And I'm going to share with you a strategy that I was using before, I think 1 year and a half. Believe it or not, I come with this strategy before 1 year and a half. The reason behind I did that is because, first of all, I have no pilots on my account, and believe it or not, the merits are giving credibility. You have a lot of merits, that means you know what you're doing in the people's eyes. And a second is just because, I'm content creator, I'm trying to help the people. At the same time, I have to be as much efficient on the battlefield as I can. I have limited amount of time. When I come back from the work, I have maybe 2 hours or 3 hours, strongly depend. And I totally understand that at this point, if I don't find a good strategy or good way of playing, I'm going to be way behind. There is people who is playing whole day and stuff like this. So I come with this strategy before 1 year and a half. And this strategy is about the heroes. Back in the days, it was just the heroes and artifacts. There was no pets. I think it was just at the moment where the pets was presented in Call of Dragons. There was no SVIP, there was no exemplars, there was no decorations. All these things didn't actually exist. But the heroes and artifacts was there. The good old mechanics. Since artifacts was little hard to be get it, especially the good artifacts, you have to go in Forge of Light, and at this point I was very low spender. And what I mean by very low spender, I mean that I get the monthly bundle and from time to time the advanced bundle. That was advanced monthly bundle. That was my whole spending in Call of Dragons. So I was focusing over the heroes because at some events, some whatever, you get some gold hits. So at least leveling the hero skills was the only place where I can actually make the difference. The skill tower tree for the heroes, everybody know them, so everybody use the same hero skill tower tree. The majority of the time, and the only thing that can actually separate you in the fights is positioning of your troop and which skill your hero are having. So I'm going to give you this clear strategy that I was having from back in the days over the hero. Obviously, I'm going to start I'm going to explain you for 5 heroes. Why I pick specific spell, and after this I'm going to go over all of the existing heroes in Call of Dragons and tell you the best build so you can get the best value from the hero at any stage. And by applying this strategy, even in the future when the new heroes arrive, you're going to know exactly how to skill up this hero. Step by step, you're going to know everything. And since I'm mage main, I'm going to start with the best meta hero right now in Call of Dragons. This is Yu Ming. Back in the days, I make little mistake because there was looking for some information over this hero, and there was just pieces of screenshots, and I tried to build something like a video to give my opinion over this hero. But right now we're having this hero, and I have him 6-star fully awakened. But before that, I was not having so many universal heads, so I can put on Yu Ming. So what I did, obviously the first spell is the first spell. I think every hero that you're having in Call of Dragons, the rage skill is the skill that you have to start. And some people are saying minimum value 555. No, this is not minimum value. You're leveling up 3 skills 5 times. This is not minimum value. Minimum value is 5 levels on the rage skill. If you don't level up these 5 levels, that means you're not actually interested in this hero. And I have heroes like this that are just sitting with not even level 1 skill. Okay, level 1 skill is just the default one. So which skill actually grabbed my attention? It's obviously the first one. Every 2 seconds doing AoE damage is crazy. Now I check out the next one. The next one is just the defense bonus. I say, okay, we're going to get these stacks, but I don't care that much over the defense. The next one is hero skill damage 20% and HP bonus 15%. And finally, we're having this 50% chance to do instance of magic damage, blah blah blah. Effect trigger once every 5 seconds. So 5 seconds is not that much time, to be fair. On top of that, this damage, even though this damage factor 125 to highest temporarily buff stacks, blah blah blah, max damage 625. So that was actually extra damage for my Yu Ming. Now before I go after the first spell, I actually check out this one, how it's working. Very important to actually test the skills that you're looking for. And I was happy. So for me, Yu Ming, after you level up the first spell, you should go with maybe the third one or the fourth one. For me, since the mages are having this opportunity to fire up from very far, this 15% HP bonus was not that important for me, even though it's important, don't get me wrong. But having more damage was more important. Triggering more faster the spell is more important. So actually check out this spell. And to be fair, I was not happy what this spell actually did. So my decision for Yu Ming to level up after the test of this spell was actually to go with the rage skill and go with the third one. This one is not proccing that much. When premonition deals damage, that means every 2 seconds this premonition is doing 1 damage, 50% chance. That means if I don't do any kind of AoE damage, it's going to be every 4 seconds I'm going to trigger this spell 1 time, and after this I have to wait 5 seconds before I do it again. And after 5 seconds, if I get lucky, I may actually trigger the spell again or wait 4 seconds again to trigger this spell. So it was not good deal for me. So yeah, I go with 5, 1, 5, and after this I actually awake this hero. But that was the process I did when I go for Yu Ming. Now other hero I can actually point to, for example Liliya. Liliya, obviously you need this hero awakened. Obviously, it's hitting the 1 target and 1 early legion. When it's awakened, it's hitting 2 extra target. This is the biggest boost in Call of Dragons. Honestly, this is the biggest boost. So from the beginning, I was knowing that Liliya is the hero that I want to have. But what is the next steps if you don't want to have this hero awakened? Obviously, the first spell is there. The next one, peacekeeping. We don't care about this thing. Peacekeeping. Engineering are skills that you just don't care about that. If you need engineering, since you know you have to do some buildings and etc., you can just use Ordo. You can use Crack. Ordo and Crack is going to cover from point to fast building. So the next spell is something like, yeah, HP bonus, magic units attack. Nah, I don't care about these passives. I want to, if I'm able to get something extra. So I go with the last one, which is when launching a normal attack and the target is having the Scorch, you have 30% chance to Scorch up to 2 surrounding enemy legions if the target legion is scorched. So if you manage to actually do a Scorch, you're going to have 50% chance to actually do Scorch on the target. And 30%, that means every 3 or 4 hits, you're going to be able to spread this Scorch. I know it's RNG, but you're going to be able to spread this Scorch. So this means you're going to have a chance to do extra 2000 damage. So obviously Liliya is going to be 5115. This is the minimum value. From there it's actually awakening. Some other very interesting hero that a lot of people talk about is actually Maggrat. Now, Maggrat is one of my mistakes. Why is that? Obviously people is going to ask why is that. First of all, yeah, the main skill, obviously we know that. Second spell is actually whether the legion get healing or variable healing, they have a 20% chance to get 40% attack for 3 seconds. Now it didn't actually matter how often this thing is proccing. But for mage main like me, using Celestials is definitely going to help me. I mean, Celestials is not doing wall damage, is way better from the Vestos, but it's less from Cavalry and Marksmen, obviously. But this 40% is extremely crazy amount for Celestials, especially when Maggrat is actually getting this Celestials damage, and if you have this 40% attack, it's just going to do, the first spell is going to do even more damage, with 40% more damage. So why I make mistake? It's just because the third one is actually Legion Marksman units. Deals 15% more normal attack damage and gets 20% HP. Legion Marksman units, not Celestials, not Vestos, Marksmans. So I actually lose so much tokens to actually level up this spell. And this is not a spell that a mage main want to have there. Go with Maggrat 5511 if you're a mage main. Don't go with 555. So you see, one mistake here for a mage main actually cost me so much, because the next level is 75. Let's say this one actually starts from level 50. I'm going to exactly tell you how much it's going to cost me. And this is Liliya. If I go over the skills, she's like 5-5. The next skill is 45. So 45 plus tokens I spent on Maggrat to get a marksman spell that I don't need for my mages. So this is why this strategy is that important, just to prevent you from spending your universal tokens over something that you actually don't need. And by sharing the process of thinking and how I approach each hero, I really hope it's just giving you a second opinion over how you can also do that. And if you enjoyed this type of content, don't forget to hit one like, also subscribe if you're looking for daily Call of Dragons videos. Now, since I already point out Liliya, why Liliya is like 5511? Well, to be fair, Liliya is one of my mistakes also. I didn't actually want to invest in Liliya, but they present Liliya and I started investing. I was having some tokens and I invest in Liliya because there is no other option. I mean, I have Liliya, Thea, Bertrand, Tohar. At this point, I didn't actually go for Maggrat and Zeta for some reason, don't remember why. And Thunderlin, with Liliya coming Call of Dragons. Hsiang was presented later in the game. So I was like, yeah, I guess this is going to be the mages we're going to have. I'm mage main, I want to run my mages, so I'm going to spend something on Liliya. Now, a lot of people actually right now compare Liliya with Gromara, but there is no place for comparison. Just Gromara is way better, especially with Hsiang. Gromara Awakened is going to give 25% permanent buff for the combo Gromara with Yu Ming. Some other hero that I want to point you out, this is Liliya. Thea. It's actually the first spell of this hero that I think is extremely valuable, and you have to have it. But what is the next spell that actually is very important? And the answer is actually the third spell. Funny, so far it was actually the fourth spell, but here for mages, if you want to run with Liliya, which I think Liliya is built for mages, you want to get this 20% defense, but that's not all. You want to get attack increased and march speed. Now, you're having a hero like a Velen, for example. Velen right now is giving you 20% march speed. So somehow, rest of the mage legions have to compensate this 20% march speed bonus. Because your legion, where is Velen, is going to be just way too far ahead from rest of the legions, and you really don't want to see your legions moving like on pieces on the map. The other thing, when you're striking, if you have fast legions, you're going to strike together and you're going to get back. From this, to have like 1 or 2 legions that are striking and the rest of the legions, till they go at the point to strike the enemy, they have to already get back, because this is poking game. So Liliya is helping you so much with Celestials, especially with this spell, with the march speed. That's why you're going to be surprised at how much merits Liliya is doing. Just crazy amount of merits. Also, this hero skill damage bonus is permanent for Liliya, because it's when rage skill is cast, so Liliya is just going to fire up this spell, and after her, it didn't actually matter before or after her, the next hero that is going to fire up the rage skill is going to be Liliya. So Liliya is always going to have this 15% rage skill boost, hero skill damage. Now this one is also a good spell, but definitely this is the way to go with the Thea. It's 5-1-5-1. You just see which spell for which legions, in what kind of conditions, is just going to give you the best value for your current setup. Maybe for cavalry it can be different. Maybe you want to go with more damage with the cavalry. Maybe for infantry it's going to be different. It didn't actually matter. You just have to focus how to benefit the most your legion. It can be in point of synergy and synchronization. It can be point between the two heroes, the synchronization and synergy. It can be between all of the heroes, synchronization and synergy. For example, Tara, absolutely wild hero. Even though that I don't use her, she's giving this attack resistance and attack up for 5 legions. By the way, I'm using this type of heroes, and I put this type of heroes little far away from rest of the legions. I mean, I don't sit exactly in the bowl of mages, I'm just little aside. And like this, I get all of the buffs from the heroes I built in this legion. It's very important your legions, your heroes, to get all of the buffs that you decide to have, not spreading them around the other people that go at the battlefield with 5 legions celestials, and you want to bring some vestals to give you 20% HP for 15 seconds every 3 seconds. So you're building your legions and you want to benefit from this, and this is one extremely good hero that is benefiting your 5 legion. Next hero, maybe I'm going to talk about Hsiang. Obviously the first spell is the spell that you're going to level, but I want to point out something about the Hsiang that I actually understand little late in Call of Dragons, and this is just how bad this hero is going to be in AOE. What I mean by that is she's throwing this Jade Diamond pellet. It's actually hitting, can be transmitted 2 times between the enemy legions. The pellet deals 40% less damage with each transmission. 40%. It's basically nothing. Even if you see Liliya, for example, even the diffuser damage here is taking 15%. Hsiang is taking 40%. So you can see in AOE how much damage Hsiang, how is reduced the damage of Hsiang compared to the rest of the AOE damage dealers that are having just diffused damage. The Hsiang damage reduction is crazy. It's just crazy how much is reduced by 40%. So you do 1000, let's say it like this. After this you're going to do 600, and after this maybe you're going to do 350. This is nothing. So I really don't like this 40% less damage reduction over the Hsiang. But this is something that, you know, it's not right at the time. We're talking about the different stuffs. Obviously you want to level up this spell. But the main spell of the Hsiang is actually again the 4th one. Whenever the legion get healing, it get 1 stack of healer mark. Each stack increase the damage do by 6%. So why I'm freaking out over damage do? Because it's not normal attack increase, it's not hero skill damage, it's damage do. This increase your normal attack, this increase your hero skill damage, this increase your pet damage, this increase your artifact damage, this increase all the damage you're doing. It's not boosting specific place, specific ability. It's boosting everything. And some of the hardcore players, I totally understand them, that right now people are freaking out with these decorations. I totally understand the people, because at the end of the day you get damage do 3%. Having 5 decorations is 15%. People don't care about the legion attack or defense. They care about this damage do. That's why I think especially for Hsiang, this spell is just wild. It's crazy. You can get 3 stacks, which is like 18% damage do bonus. Absolutely wild. So I really hope this video gives you some idea how to prioritize your hero skills as a free-to-play player, WoW spender, mid spender, it didn't actually matter. Well, if you're Whale or Kraken, I don't think you're going to have any kind of issue with heroes, because everything is going to be awakened. But if you're a free-to-play player and you want to get the maximum of your hero, this is the way to approach each hero. Now, if you have questions, you can just leave it in the comments below for specific heroes. I'm going to try to answer. If you're not so sure and you want to have a second opinion, I have no issue to help you. Also, like the video, subscribe if you're new here for the daily dose Cow of Dragons. And if you're interested more in the heroes, here I'm going to put the hero metas through the seasons. I mean, from Generation 1, Generation 2, Generation 4, Generation 5, etc. This is the meta heroes that you have to watch each season. Some of them is going to be for your main troop, some of them is going to be something that you want to have because just the value from these heroes is way too bigger. I wish you a great day and see you in the next video.